Hello everybody, it's Alish again here at Wanderlust Entrepreneur and Journeys of the Spirit. Today I want to talk about a topic which comes up quite frequently in the Facebook groups, and it's also a question I get often asked by retreat leaders for whom I arrange retreats, the itineraries, which always include the accommodation, transportation, tours, and experiences that they want to have included. And that question is, would a hotel be better, a resort, retreat center for my group, or would it be better to just book a nice big villa for my group so we have privacy? So there isn't an easy answer for that. It always depends on the retreat leader's needs and where they're at. That's something I usually find out when I talk to them. But in this video, I just want to talk about a few points which might help you to decide what works for you, what might be the better option for you. So to keep it simple and structured, let me talk about villas first. So the biggest challenge with villas is that they need a higher deposit, or quite a big deposit, and not only a higher deposit, they need it up front. That deposit is usually around 50%. And then the balance is due 60 to 30 days before. There are some exceptions. I work with different property management companies that specialize in renting villas for groups or for private travelers, and they have allowed us to just make a 20% deposit, and sometimes we were even able to hold the villa for a certain amount of time, usually not more than 2 to 4 weeks, just because villa owners do have a much bigger risk of losing money than hotels have, and therefore they have the higher deposit requirements. So that is one of the biggest challenges for renting a villa for your retreat. The other challenge for renting a villa is you only have a certain number of rooms. If a villa has 4 bedrooms, whether they're twin bedded or they have a king size bed, that's all you will have available. So if suddenly your retreat takes off and you need 5 rooms or 6 rooms, you can't just add on a room because the villa just has 4 rooms, just as an example. So there is this limitation, but sometimes that's all retreat leaders want. You maybe just want a certain number of rooms, you just want a small group, and in that case it's absolutely fine, it's perfect. And another challenge is that with villas it's much more difficult to find out the exact quality of that villa. There are reviews, but not nearly as much information as you would get, for example, booking a hotel. That's another reason why I only work with property management companies that specialize in villa rentals for travelers and groups, because having worked with some of them for quite a few years, I just know that they have visited them and that they vouch for the quality of the property. So I have confidence that they will that everything will be taken care of. And I know that quite a few really like to book with Airbnb. I have booked Airbnb myself for private travel only for myself, and even that to just limited extent. Simply because for clients and groups, I don't use them because the regulations aren't very renter friendly. So with Airbnb, it can happen that you actually book a place and they can cancel on you a week before or even a day before, and you would have no recourse most of the time. So you would be left stranded and maybe have 10 participants and no place to put them. So that's one of the main reasons I don't use Airbnb. There are others, but I don't want to talk about those in this video. That's for another video. With villa management companies, there's just a security that they will stand behind their product. So if anything goes wrong, they will take responsibility for that. Even if there's a loss of income because they had to cancel a villa, they will do everything they can to provide something else for you. That's just the worst case scenario. A couple of days ago, I had a meeting with the owner of a villa management company here in Sri Lanka, and he actually personally visits all the villas that he is offering, and he has over 80 of them in his portfolio. So I feel really confident that working with somebody like that, there's I can be confident that there's quality. The villas are what they say they are, and I can confidently send my clients there. I have also personally inspected many villas myself in different countries, and those are always owned by or managed by villa management companies. So that's something to consider when you rent villas. So the advantage of renting a villa obviously is you have privacy for your entire group. You can do whatever you want. Well, not whatever you want, but you know what I mean. You can just really create a safe and private container for your group and have a really intimate and good experience with your group just being in a villa, because you don't have anybody else, no other guests walking around. So that's, I think, one of the biggest advantages. The other one is that if you're in a villa, you will have your own staff, you will have your own cook, and in most countries that's the case. And so it's much easier to have a much more customized experience than you would have, for example, in a hotel. Villas work really well if you already have people ready to sign up, and you know a certain amount of people are coming, so you can go ahead and book the villa without having to worry that you might not have enough participants to pay for the cost of the villa. So those are really the main advantages, and I personally love arranging villas again because of those reasons. But if there are circumstances where I recommend not to book a villa, and one of them is if you've never done a retreat before, if you don't know yet how many people might sign up. In that case, I always recommend to go with a small hotel. Could be a boutique hotel. I visited quite a few hotels here. The other day, I visited 5 of them in a small, it's called Gold Fort, which is a beautiful old Dutch fort, and here in Sri Lanka. And there are some beautiful boutique hotels. One of them only had 7 rooms, so that would be just perfect for a small group. Some of them have 15 rooms, 25 rooms, and up to 45 rooms. So those are much easier to hold the rooms, and even after speaking with them, they would hold rooms without a deposit for a certain amount of time, giving you a lot of time to market your retreat and to see if the response is there, to go ahead with the retreat, or even to see how many rooms you might need. We could hold 4 rooms. You might end up only with, if 4 rooms have double occupancy, would be 8 people, but you might end up finding out, I only need 2 rooms, I only have 4 people. You could just give back the 2 rooms and still run your retreat with a smaller number of people. Obviously your profit would be smaller, but I'm quite sure you wouldn't run your retreat at a loss. You would still make some money. That option you don't have when you run your retreat at a villa. So that's a big advantage with the hotels. With the hotels, you also have the opportunity, the possibility to, like as I just mentioned, you can reduce the number of rooms, but you can also increase the number of rooms. So for example, if you're planning on 10 people coming, and let's say you're holding 6 or 7 rooms for these 10 people, but then you find out your retreat is really taking off, it's really popular, and you actually need 10 or 15 rooms. If it's a hotel that has enough rooms, you can easily add those rooms. And most of the time when I make arrangements at a hotel for retreat, let's say the retreat leader is planning to have a minimum of 8 people, twin or double occupancy, I might hold 5 to 6 rooms, including the single room for the retreat leader, but I always hold 1 or 2 more rooms for the group, just in case more people sign up. And as we get closer to the retreat date, we can then adjust the number of rooms, either up or down. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages in booking a small hotel or resort or retreat center even. It just gives you so much more flexibility. And just because it's a hotel, it doesn't mean you don't have privacy. As I just mentioned, there are beautiful small boutique hotels that only have 7 rooms. You could book the whole hotel, the whole property, and have a really wonderful private experience. So even if there's 15 or 20 rooms, it will still be a really private experience. And most of those hotels have a little meeting space, maybe not a proper meeting room, but they have a meeting space which they can arrange for you to use for your group. A couple of the smaller hotels that I visited, they have a beautiful library or some other meeting area which they can exclusively prepare for groups. And those are even much more beautiful than many of the proper meeting rooms in larger hotels, which can be a little bit cold and not so personal. So those are some of the points I wanted to share with you. I know there's more, but I hope that this is helpful. And if you're not sure whether you should rent a villa or whether you should go with a hotel, which also is dependent on the destination. Some countries or destinations are much easier to rent a villa, hold a villa for a small deposit than other countries. Southeast Asia I find is quite easy. Here Sri Lanka is quite easy. I find some European countries work well and some don't. So it really depends on where you want to have your retreat. That's why it's great if you contact me, we have a chat about where you want to go, and then I can give you qualified answers, what might work and what might not work so well, or what might work best for you and what you're trying to do. So I really hope this has been helpful. I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while because I think it's really important. It's an important topic. And if you have any questions, please post them down below. And if you would like to talk about your own retreat and how I can help you, I'd be happy to have a chat with you. Just send me an email. I'll put my email below, or send me a private message on Facebook. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have and schedule a time to talk with you as well. It's been a pleasure as always, and until next time, have a great day wherever you are, and talk to you soon. Bye for now.